So I watched like when it first came out, I watched the 12 episodes. But after that, I haven't caught up. So last night, I got a Crunchyroll subscription and I have like started watching it again.
Based.
So 2 weeks should be enough to like catch up till season two. Yeah. Uh, so let's see. I mean, first of all, like spy stuff and assassin stuff, like super cool. And you add in the Esper mix, right? And it's just like it's a recipe for chaos. I don't look too much into the political aspect of it, but say it's a cool like setting for where the spy stuff and the assassin stuff can happen. And I'm still like again I haven't caught up, so I don't know how far that has gotten. But it should be interesting, like where they take it, where the mangaka takes it. Actually, like the Operation Strix itself is there, right? Like where they started everything. Where it goes, what actually happens, like will like Lloyd be successful in his mission? You know that sort of thing. It's nice. It's a fun anime to watch. It's not. It gives you opportunity to think if you want to think about it. Like like sometimes I do that. Like okay, how, how did the wise spy organization like set up a photo booth which has an elevator in it in the enemy country, right? So I'm saying enemy loosely, but yeah, in the enemy country, you know, you can hand wave it just for the spy stuff, right? And that's what it is, right? Like cool gadgets and stuff. But yeah, if you want to think about it, you can think about it. Gives you the opportunity to do that. But if not, just sit and watch the anime, like laugh and just cool, like this cool fight scene. Oh yeah, Anya is cute and funny. It's got something for everyone, is what I feel.
Yeah, because I don't want to riff on his point about there have been multiple elements in this show, and that's true, right? Like you have the Western element, you have the spy element, you have the cool element, and of course the telepath, the Esper element, and like most shows that have way too many things going on get tiresome really quickly. Like there's a show called Sasaki and Peeps that came out I think 2 seasons ago, and it got really frustrating after like 6 episodes. Like when a mangaka tries to add way too many elements, you just end up being confused and horrific. But I'm surprised Spy Family hasn't reached that stage. Like I'm glad that even though it does feel from numerical perspective there are many elements, they sort of sync together. The synergy is good, so that's something I want to appreciate.
Right, right. So what I feel is like they're just tools. They're not the focus. Like Lloyd, he is a spy, but uh, uh like Yor is an assassin, but like it's not the focus of it. Anya being an spy is not the focus. Like the mission, again, from my perspective, the mission itself is the focus. Operation Strix, and like the other stuff are just like it's just happening.
Yeah, it's just a way to tell a funny story.
Exactly.
Like Chekhov's gun.
Yeah. Hey, um, I'm Rahul. So I'm from Singapore, by the way. So yeah, I'm like about SpyxFamily. I mean, it's your overall like normal anime, like daughter looking at both of parents being secretists, being a part of each secret societies and then fighting. It's like basically like a few other animes. Like what do I? It's like Welcome to Demon School Irumakun and like other kind of animes too. So I mean it's one of the like it's one of the famous animes, but there are other underrated animes which have the same kind of storyline which Spike's family takes inspiration from. And overall I would rate it like out of 10, 6 out of 10, and I think it's not overrated, but it's still quite almost there to overrated kind of situation right there. So yeah. Okay, there's not a lot of issues. I think that there are many other animes which have the same kind of storyline. Oh, censorship, I think it's PG. PG, max, PG. Oh, I mean, okay, PG is like Singapore, sorry, my bad. It's UA, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Because okay, in SpyxFamily you can see a lot of other, like for example in one of the episodes where what's her name? Your actually fights with other bad guys, and there are a lot of blood splattering happening there. So it could be possibly a UA because of that, maybe.
Yes. So rating. Interesting. So I guess I have an interesting take on Spy Family. I started reading it when it just started coming out, and on the manga that is. So I mean, I remember being extremely hyped for it, and my hype waning as time went on, because I think my expectations for the show was a little different. I expected more plot development than what actually came. It's more, I think, a slice of life comedy than a uh, action show or something that has plot progression, which is completely fine. My expectations are just a little different. Uh, but yeah, I think that's my take on the show for now. I think I need some time to like get my thoughts in order before I. Uh, yeah.
Like the more people are involved, right? Obviously, the production houses are involved, the animators are involved right now. So then that sort of expands the definition of what canon is, because like uh obviously like they could have some better ideas, and like the mangaka would be like happy with that as well. Like I believe like to a certain extent it happens in like One Punch Man, like where there is like a web comic, and then like the manga itself like has some variations to it, right? Like some changes to, I don't know to the extent, like I haven't caught up to the manga, but like there are some like differences in the way the web comic is written and the manga is written, right? So yeah, the definition of canon, right? So yeah, it starts getting like again, this is from my perspective, it starts getting like weird there, but you know, at that point it's just like how you feel about it.
Hello, my name is Axis. I'm from CAC, and I think I'd give the show a 7 out of 10 probably. Catching up for a movie like this specifically, where all the characters are involved, it is a very good idea to probably get caught up on the series before you go to the movie, as you may get spoiled. That's the obvious answer. But another thing is, you'll have a little bit more, you'll be a little more in the know about the relationships between characters. Each character, not just Anya specifically. Film being considered canon depends on the intent of whatever's being written, but most anime movies, if not all, at least contribute to the either the backstory of a character, like someone already did state, or the world building of a world. I like Spike's Family because even though it's a more of a slice of life comedy than something akin to a James Bond thriller, it has an absurd amount of world building that I like very much. I come for the world building. Yeah. About the compilation films, I think it's a good idea as long as uh, some modifications are made. For example, I watched Kuren Lagan as the movies. I did not watch the original episodes. I only recently did that. And despite there being some cuts and being shorter, it's a good summary, and it did improve on a few aspects that I thought were not that great in the original series.
So yeah, so I think we can categorize. I mean, as a whole, across all anime movies, that is, I think that mainly, at least in the past, I think it was a marketing tool, or bringing attention to the series to some point. So most movies that I have seen, at least, except the not in the compilation, except like the sequel movies, etc. Generally approach the material with the keeping in mind the eye of someone who's never seen the original work as well. Obviously, there will be spoilers for people who are in the show, but for example, the easiest example I can give is the Detective Conan movies, where before the movie there is a quick explanation of what Conan is, even though the later movies have massive spoilers for what happens in the series. but they still accommodate people who have not seen the series before. So I think that's the major opinion we have with canon versus non-canon. At least, especially when you're talking about non-canon stuff, when whatever happens in the movie has no bearing on the plot. Uh, it is a positive and negative thing that you can look at it in a positive or a negative way. A positive way such that, let's say you are adapting a material. Let's say you're adapting a manga and you want to make a non-canon movie for it. You are free. You're free to experiment with whatever you want. You can, because you know that whatever you do in the movie has no bearing on the plot. So like, let's say avant-garde director wants to express himself. You could, example I'd like to use adolescence with Utena, but that's another topic for itself. But yeah, so I think that obviously the non-value of non-canon movies is like there's no need to see them because they have no bearing on the plot. So there is two set sides to this argument as well. I think, yeah. Anything else you want me to cover? So yeah, I think compilations as a whole serve. So okay, so I'm going to give an example of a compilation movie that I think is worth watching above this series, which is the Review Starlight compilation movie, which is Rondo Rondo Rondo. So the reason I'm giving this example is because in that compilation movie, they explored a different part of the story through the eyes of one of the characters in the show. So compilation movies allow you to explore the story in a different way. Obviously, when you're coming, I guess it's similar to an adaptation in that way. When you are trying to cram a 6 hour story, or in, let's say, a 1 core show, a 6 hour story into a 1 90-minute movie. So it comes to it comes to your skills of adapting the work as a whole. But if done well, that is, it could serve as a way to introduce new people and explore the setting more, explore the story more. uh, yeah, that way. That's one way, that's the way I look at compilation films, at least with my limited experiences of seeing them. I have not seen many of them myself because yeah, they I it's fair to admit that they do have a, let's say, less likely need to watch, because if you've seen the series, why watch the compilation movie? So yeah.
I have no. I just have four words to end this slide. Koyomi Vamp Telugu dub.
Yeah, okay, nothing. It's fine. I don't want to comment on this.
SpyxFamily is inspired by around 1970s to 1965 era Cold War between the GDR and East Germany. Yeah, both countries at the time were were attempting to demilitarize and not get into actual conflict, but they saw investments in two other places. Um, the results of MK Ultra were beginning to show fruit, and they were applied in some. Yeah,
The conspiracy theories come afoot.
no, not it's not a
Oh, my
conspiracy
conspiracy
theory. It's
theory is
just
the
that
next slide.
around the same time, a large amount of funding appeared for the CIA, and the for the other side, the NKVD and the KGB. So yes. So all I'm trying to tell you is that this is the little perfect setting they could have had for SpyxFamily, because
Stasi.
this is around the time when spies became very highly used and people were being caught left and right as well.
I'm pretty sure knowing Manas would have mentioned it somewhere, or I don't know if he's put in the slides, but yeah, I think my favorite example of a similar conflict would probably be Princess Principal. Uh, yes, I'm pretty sure he did. Yes. So I think that takes a more generalist stance of democracy versus monarchy, and there's like so many examples of that across history. So it's hard to say which one. But I think less to this point, but it takes the more East Germany versus West Germany point of view with the wall in between the two things, the two powers, etc. Uh, it. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, so that, and I'm thinking of something, another examples probably.
Yeah, I had like one idea to share. So definitely like what Malta said, right? The language is a part of culture. So when you have a language, the culture definitely comes out. So if you speak in Japanese, you will get a like a taste of Japanese culture. Same with any language, English, Tamil, whatever. Yeah, but like adding to that, right? So I feel like so they're telling a story in one setting, and that setting takes inspiration from, yeah, I guess like history. But the language that they speak, right? Obviously, if Spy Family was a show that was made in like US, it would primarily be in English. But they're still emulating. They're trying to emulate that time period, that setting. So so I feel like the language itself, right, would take away from the setting. Meaning like obviously like you can't have that, like if you have a setting in German, you can't have everyone speak German, right? Because like people won't understand, like people who don't know the language won't understand. So there's a trade-off there, I would say, and maybe there's a better word, but yeah, like the setting and the natural language for that setting, and who is doing the show, and they're adding. So that's why the Japanese, I feel that's why the Japanese culture is coming out. One of the reasons, I guess, because the language it primarily is in Japanese. It takes away from the setting a little bit. Again, there's no like scientific backing on thing there. It's just my opinion. Because the Spy Family as a show, if it was like made in India with the primary language as Hindi, would have a different taste than like as what it is right now because of the language.
Hi, I'm Prakash. In Bangalore currently. Anya watches anime. Is there any other better reason she's into Japanese? Nothing especially, but it's kind of good that Anya watches a show which his father is kind of protagonist.
Yeah, so I honestly think that passion projects are better, but I understand that at times they may not be possible. Again, I'm going to relate this with the gaming industry since I have a lot more experience there. I play in the niches, which is the military simulation genre. Things like where you have to sit around for 2 to 3 hours until and have very little actual combat in the game. So most people do not find that fun. I am one of the few who do. And the thing what you'll find is that most of the games that they make, most of the people that make the games, Milsim games, are heavily passion inspired projects. Most of them are indies in early access, low funding, and usually end up either crashing or just barely making it through. Arma 3 is an example of the latter, but there's a lot in the former as well, which just catapult because they don't have enough funding. So I understand where the mangaka is talking from because he wants something that other people don't really want to read, and he owes something to the publishers. He has to get a minimum amount of sales. So expecting passion projects to always be a thing is very idealistic in my opinion. So I understand where he's coming from. It's probably sort of painful for him that he's writing something that he doesn't feel attached to, but sometimes that's just how it goes. I draw the line where you see a proper drop in quality because see, even though he may not feel attachment to the characters like he just quoted in the slide you showed, I still see research. I still see work put in that he has, he or his team has researched and written down probably more detail than most of us will ever care to look up. I like looking up things like that. So I like the anime because of that. Even though it panders to almost everything, there is still research put into it. There is still a hefty amount of work into it, and I appreciate that for what it is.
So it's like it's what you want out of it. So and when I say you, I mean the mangaka, the author, right? So if you want if you want something to be popular, if you want something to make money, if you want to like, reach the audience, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices because that's how the trend goes, right? It's a matter of so it's like versus writing for yourself versus writing for an audience, and you as an author have to make the decision to like which side you want to lean more into. And like today, I learned that the mangaka has no attachment to the characters, which is like which I feel is sad. But like if he's okay with continuing to do it, right? Like I personally like I want to be an author, and like I would like to be attached to my characters in a certain way. So like because I'm writing a story about them through their eyes, right? So a certain amount of like love for them, I should say. Maybe not the best word, but yeah, it should be there. And it's actually a little, but yeah, if he can make it work, the manga can make it work, and it's up to him. Uh, it's honestly up to the individual. But me personally, like I'd like to do like it would be a passion project, but I would also like to have reach. So that's the trade-off that you have to willing to make. Yeah, because like what you like, others may not like, and if you think, okay, this is the like I'm writing a very great story, but like if it only sells like 2 books, you will have to reevaluate things. He made the call. He made the decision to like do that, and we got a great manga and anime out of it. So yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So this, I think, is a difficult question to answer because I am very biased. That's why it's hard for me to consider one side of the argument, which is I think the main problem that I have with this whole take is that some people judge the quality of work by its popularity in the industry, which is something I heavily disagree with. In my opinion, art as a whole, including manga, anime, or anything that you create, is a form of expression for the artist. So if a person is not able to express himself in the best way that he feels comfortable with, because he is given, like he, let's say, is pressured by the industry or he's pressured by the readers, for example, to change his vision, I think that's a failure on the system itself, failure of the system, that is. Uh, so that's my view. I'm very biased, as I said. Yeah. So no, that's in my opinion. Obviously, there are some. I think okay. Let's moving away from anime a little bit. There are cases where, let's say, the corporate decision sometimes holds people back. Let's say, for example, the Snyder Cut became very popular. The Justice League Snyder Cut, even though I mean, and it was better than the original. But like, hmm. I mean, I think people who enjoy Snyder would have enjoyed it more. But essentially, I think it comes to the point that okay, let's say that I enjoy a creator's work. I don't want this thing, his work to be limited by the fact he's working with X company or he's working in X medium. Or I want him to be able to express himself the best way possible. That is my opinion on it. So I'm very heavily leaning towards passion projects because even if something is not monetarily successful, it still has value in my opinion. The other playing devil's advocate for a little bit, that the other side of the thing is obviously I think the biggest argument is that the industry controls the how successful he a person is. Let's say, for example, SpyxFamily is very popular. Hypothetically speaking, let's say Tatsuya Endo went ahead with what his original vision for the thing was, and again, all of this is hypothesis. Let's say people did not like it at all, and it failed miserably. As in life or monetarily or in some way, let's say he would be in a worse position than he is right now. I think mainly it's from a monetary point of view. Maybe he would be happier if he was drawing what he wanted versus, let's say, the money he makes from because SpyxFamily is very popular or Spy Family is very popular. But I think that's the main argument I see coming from that side, which is that uh, like especially from a creator point of view, like how am I supposed to earn money if I don't please the fans? Uh, that's the main point that I see, and again, big. what's the word I'd use? Big throwing it out into the air here, but I think it's a failure of the industry when it fails to promote passion projects or fails to encourage passion projects versus, let's say, the I don't like this word a lot, but people use it a lot in online circles. The content, making all kinds of creation content.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I think now, especially with influencers, etc., we have a lot of people using the word content creation. I think content, in my opinion, has a very negative connotation. Like it's something that's made for the masses, made for this thing without any expression.
Yeah, and then like one more angle to add to this. So like I think we talked about it from the creator's perspective, but the industry perspective. There's also the audience perspective, I think, because you're not gonna read something just because it's a passion project, right? It has to like resonate with you, like as a consumer. Again,
Hmm.
like
Okay, so yeah, so this is an interesting take actually. I think yeah, I think Infinite got a really good point across. That is relatability. Relatability is a very big factor. I think in a lot of people's create like this thing consumption of media, whether that is let's say relating to a character, relating to themes, relating to certain aspects of characters. I'm watching a show and I see a person face discrimination and I'm like, oh cool, I had something similar, maybe not exactly the same, but I had something similar in my life, so I relate to this character and therefore I root for them. So that is a very important point of view, I agree. But I think in my opinion, that's the thing, right? So Infinite, as you came across, the world is very wide. I think rather than you let's say trying to appeal to one audience, it should be you rather trying to find your audience. Let's say you found X people who are like, oh cool, I don't like the way you write this, so I think it should have gone differently. Rather than changing your story or changing your vision for them, I think you should try to find people who appreciate you, appreciate what
yeah,
you've written. That's just my opinion on it. Again, it's
yeah,
a
that's true
ideal
actually,
worldview.
and that's where the production houses, I guess, they come in, right? Because like they, with their power and reach, if they get it across, the right audience will find the content, right? I mean, sorry, not the art, I should say.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. Okay.
And before you start, I want to start on this side because I've been waiting for this for a while. I genuinely believe Tatsuya Endo was paid by Shinzo Abe and his cabal of evil henchmen with the sole purpose of improving the fertility rate of Japan. And Spy Family was made with the express purpose of making Japanese people feel it's cool to have kids and cool to have a wife and family. It's essentially a plea for the hikikomoris, for the needs, the otakus, to get that shit together, find people, a husband, a wife, have kids, make Shinzo Abe proud. So I genuinely do believe this is true. So
Yeah, so no, I don't think it's. I think you're looking at it from a wrong point of view. I think rather than it being paid by Shinzo Abe, it is appealing to Shinzo Abe. That is why it was promoted.
so essentially, what Spy Family was done, a lot of, let's say, so-called waifus were mostly underage. And yes, coming from a self-confessed Monogatari fan, we do find it an issue that a lot of, let's say, fan art, a lot of people, a lot of online pent up, let's say, honey posting was directed at minor characters and school high schoolers in anime. Spy Family was one of several recent works that shifted this towards this sort of directed honey posting towards adult women, and that's something I'm really glad because adult women are good. There's a lot
What?
more, let's say, thirsting over your forger. Uh, you know, sorry, HK, you wanna say something?
And I'm gonna let you finish your. Yes, I'm gonna let you finish your point. So,
Basically,
Yeah, whatever that is.
yeah, this show, and a
uh,
few other shows made thirsting for adult women good, made it cool.
hmm, okay.
I think the point is like lesser of two evils, right? Like,
Okay. So, finding family. Yes. So I think as much as Metla inanely rambled there and said some not safe for normal people hear stuff. I
You
do
know,
think it's a very important thing that the importance of family, or rather rather than the importance of yeah, the importance of family. I guess, yeah. In my opinion, the family is very important, but the importance of family is kind of being lost in modern media. Um, or it might be such that we are trying to what's the word? What's the best way
find
to put
belonging.
this? Huh?
Find belonging, because these three were like put in
Yes, yes,
very
exactly. Yes, yes, yes. So it's either trying to find belonging from the point of view of let's say you find a bunch of really close friends that you feel comfortable sharing everything with. They're like your family. So family, I think, especially Spy Family, for example, really puts to or really gives an example of what family can mean outside of biological ties. So it puts up a good point for adoption. Even if, let's say, you're not physically related to someone, can you love them? I mean, if you're not biologically related to someone, can you really love them as a daughter or as a child? So those kinds of points are being brought up, which I appreciate. I think, yeah, I think that's all I have to say on this topic.
And I think I want to add to that part that,
Mm.
most, I mean, one of the, NHK no Yokoso and a lot of animes do touch about this sort of loneliness and belonging, and that a family isn't just, what you were born with. A family is what you make for yourself. That, recently come up with, Windbreaker, most of the what you call shonen. I'm not going to finish the word. Shonen animes and stuff, that, a family is also something you find and you create for yourself. And it's not just, I mean, whether you want to complete a mission and, I don't know, East Berlin, you want to beat up people, like, rule breakers, like, I don't, it's just your family is what you make of it. That's no such thing as, you're born into one.
Oh, he's here, the lad. What's up?
It's probably not my smartest decision because I still have a ton of packing to do.
Ah.
But hi, I'm Sakaido from Bangalore Anime Club.
Totally in
Former
Bangalore.
admin of yeah, truly, yes, it's not. Formerly of Bangalore Anime Club, I
Were
guess.
you here for my opening statement about this slide?
Was
No,
I
he
here
wasn't.
for
No,
your
no, no, he
opening
wasn't.
statement
No,
about
no,
this
he,
slide
no,
in
no,
specific?
no,
No, I
no,
was not.
no, he wasn't, and I don't want you to repeat it. Thank you.
Cool. Moving on.
Okay, I think that's the introduction. So again,
Oh wait,
yeah,
what was I? Was I supposed to introduce anything else?
no, I think that's good enough. Sakaido slash Mushi, do you have any points about this finding family important theme? Since you joined in the middle, I just summarize what everyone was saying. I brought up a point of, mainly Metla brought up okay, a point about adult women in being this thing, or I guess to put it more in the, I'd say put it more in a presentable manner, a more motherly figure being presented as the female lead. Let's just go with that instead of what the exact words he used. And I brought up a point about family. Yeah, I
Why
brought up
do
a
I
point about. Huh?
feel like I know the words he used? Anyway, never mind. Carry on.
Okay, no, but it's fine. So I brought a point about like finding family, and he added to it, which is finding family outside biological relationships. Let's say adoption, etc. So do you have anything to
Hmm.
add to that,
So
or
see, in my
anything
Yeah,
defense,
separate?
no,
I
that's
did
kind
not
of
use the hag word. So just want to say that for the record.
No, you
uh,
used it. No, thank you, man.
No,
you
I know
just
what he
used
was.
it.
Yeah, he thought I said that, but yeah, moving on.
Wait, huh? So uh, yeah, I think it ties into the like at least like my when I suggested this topic to be included, I yeah, I was definitely thinking of the latter half of your statement, like found family in a literal sense, like not blood related per se,
Yeah, your family is what you make of it.
right? And I have nothing to say. Just
Yeah. Okay. Amazing point.
sorry,
Thank you.
carry on.
Hmm.
Oh, I mean, I guess Spy Family does do an interesting, not an interesting thing per se, like not anything novel, but just you know, sort of for a lot of people, for a lot of children especially, their first exposure to, or the first time they start grappling with ideas of um, found family, so to speak, as in considering someone not blood related the, as family, is with animals, with pets, and yeah, so it's only kind of fitting that Spy Fam has that aspect to it, and fitting in that context again that it's Anya who has the closest relationship with Bond. So yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say, really.
Do you mind if I say something?
Yeah, go ahead. No, I said I have nothing to say. Just go ahead.
Yeah. So, you guys did talk about the finding family. The family is what you make, and not because blood related. But I want to add another thing because most of the media I have consumed. Okay, I don't know. There's a lot that I don't know. Usually show a family as this either this perfect thing or like completely dysfunctional. I think Spy Family shows a more realistic scenario of a family. They have their trials and tribulations. They uh, act differently in society. It shows how societal norms are towards a family. And another thing is it shows that everyone has secrets. Everyone has personal things that they keep to themselves. They have things that they share with family, and yet what's it called? It's not that they don't like each other and they have to show everything. I don't know how to explain it. God damn it.
They did it well, like the family thing, right? It's
Yeah.
an example of how even a family built on a foundation of lies can still function.
And to an extent, some secrecy and lies are necessary in a family. It's not
Yeah.
a bad thing. Most media shows it as a bad thing. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul, and I did want to speak earlier as well, but I was not in an environment where I could speak freely. So I I think for this theme, I think just to slightly echo the point that someone else, I don't remember who was making earlier about this being propaganda. Like while that part is debatable, but I think it does, I think, really well portray the fact that neither of them, like, okay, maybe Anya wanted a family, but neither of the guy Lloyd and the woman um Yor, they didn't want a family, and they were in this whole perception that I don't need a family, I don't want a family, I don't want nothing to do with a family, and both of them are engaged in it. So it's not just the lie that they have told each other, right? It's also the sort of lie, not lie, but the perception they force on themselves as well, that they don't need a family and they are just joining it because of other reasons, not because they wanted a family. And yet we all know what happens in the plot as we move forward. So that part, that just because you think you don't want a family for XYZ reasons doesn't mean you don't need it.
You're right about this because it started off as a marriage of convenience, just to fulfill each other's needs. But the closer they were together, the things they went through, it just brought them closer, and that's what. This is why I believe it's propaganda. Why the Reunification Church, the LDP, why Shinzo Abe is responsible for this work being made for the Japanese public to think families are cool. So I rest my case.
Never cook again, Grandpa.
Yes.
On God, bro.
On God. On God.
For real, for real.
Okay. Okay. I think let's get to the point. So, spy
Yeah,
and
right.
thriller anime. I think I'll start this time. So, spy and thriller anime, surprisingly, I mean, thriller, of course, but I think specifically spy anime, you don't see that much these days. I think it's. I mean, I'm specifically talking about these days because it all goes back to that whole discussion we had about the contentification of media. But yeah, specifically, I don't think from a spy point of view, we've seen much anime. This again, these could be considered debatable. If you're talking, it's about spy shows from a purely fiction point of view. Let's say the popular ones like James Bond, we don't see as much uh, the stories that tackle similar themes. You do see a bunch of, let's say, detective shows or shows with a. Hmm, I don't know what the word I'd use is. I think of these as examples, which is like Lupin and Sherlock Holmes. I think my headcanon. Huh? My
Okay.
headcanon is a cool male dude doing cool stuff.
How's MD?
So, so yes, yeah. So those type of themes you do see. I mean, I think that's definitely more explored. Mystery fiction has been a staple in almost everything because I think mystery fiction appeals a lot to a lot of people and it's very fun to write, read, etc. But yeah, I think spy anime is definitely something that we don't see that too much of. So it's like again, Spy Family also doesn't deals with the spy aspects a little bit, but I think it's more comedy than a spy thriller specifically. Not so much as the other example that I brought up, Princess Principal is, which is very much a spy thriller. So, moving aside from the whole cool dude going doing cool thing kind of thing, I think when it comes to spy, with specifically the conditions that I'd like to impose on something, calling something a spy show is espionage. If are they stealthily trying to uncover something? Are they trying to hide something from people? The whole concept of espionage is very important for me to classify something as a spy anime. Yeah, so that's what. So Cosmopol brings up a very good point. Like, do we consider Detective Conan as a spy anime? So it does have some elements of espionage, but I don't think it's a core factor of the show. So again, like these are labels that humans assign to. Yeah, this is like labels humans assign to shows. So I don't think it's as important that it should be. Is X show a sports anime or is X show not a sports anime? And I don't think that is. I don't want to die on a hill calling something a certain genre, but in my opinion, if a show primarily consists of espionage, then I would consider it to be a spy show. I think yeah, that's my take on it. Someone else can take.
Hi.
So,
So
So
with the following criteria, I rest my case that Attack on Titan is a spy anime. That is all.
never cook again, bro.
Oh no.
I've had this
Back,
conversation.
damn back, damn bagpipe users in my stream.
No, like
Okay, whatever.
I have had this conversation with Ditto as well. Like, I consider Love Live a good sports anime, and I want to bring up this, multi-genre sort of blurring the line thing with Saki and Peeps. It came out like 2 seasons ago, and at some point in time, it's not easy to just lump a show into a single box. It's about what they represent, what they transcend, and yes, this is a spy esper cool sort of slice of life rom-com kind of stuff. So you want to put 5 labels to it, cool, but reducing it to a spy and thriller is about what? Describing 60%, maybe 50% of the show. That's one. Two, it does do both ends pretty well. Like the fight sequences, the action sequences were well done and were, thrilling and sort of stuff. The comedy sequences, the school stuff, the home cooking stuff, whatever. Like each bit was done. Like if you just splice them together, like put all the spy stuff together, it's a good spy show. You splice all the comedy stuff together, it is a comedy show. It's like that distinctions is pretty well done, and yeah, there's no point in describing which labels can or cannot be fit.
Well,
So I
labels aside, I feel that won't work. Like, I want to disagree on that point. Like, if you take all the spy stuff, put it separately, I feel it won't work as a spy anime. Likewise, the
yeah.
Yeah.
So
comedy
So
part. Like,
Yeah, so
I
this
think
is
so too. It wouldn't.
yes, I think I'm going to say the word that will trigger Mushi's brain. It's the word the serious arcs of Spy Family are truly why you should watch the
Oh
show.
Lord.
But yes, this comes to the whole serious arc point. I mean, I disagree with what Malta says when he says it's Spy and Thriller is 50% of the show. I think Spy and Thriller is 10% of the show. The show is 75% comedy.
I was being
Uh,
very generous, by the
so-
way.
yeah,
Or rather than assigning a hard percentage to it, I feel like comedy is
the
the
primary,
backbone of the
yes,
show, wherein like the things that happen, well, obviously a lot of it is not rooted in realism at all. However, what sells it to you is the fact that the show is comedy.
okay, yes,
Sorry, but
yes.
Takeaway.
yeah. So essentially, like, if you had to, I've come to the conclusion that like no matter how much genre melding you do, every show has a primary genre, and I don't mean primary genre as in what occupies most of its runtime and its, but rather what forms the backbone of the show, what informs every other aspect of the show. For Spy Fam, that's like even to give the Spy Fam example, for me it is primarily a comedy show, simply because even the spy sequences are informed by this. For the, like
And I think
using your child to get in the good graces of another child of an important person in the same school is let's just say not a tactic employed by spy agencies across the world. How,
Surprisingly.
yeah, yes, because children are surprisingly unreliable. Who would have thought? But
Mushi,
that's the
Or
that
that's
forms the basis of some of the comedy, and what sells it to you is the fact that it is a comedic show, that it
or maybe that's what the
is
spy
going to
agencies
do
want
these
you to think,
funny
so that
things for
children can
funny
do
reasons.
espionage.
no, I think
Hmm?
Hi, I'm Dipsy. I'm Chennai secretary for ACC. ACC is the Asia Culture Club that I represent. We do events in the area of Korean and Japanese culture, and like it's not just like anime that we like. We like food. We like cooking. We like food a lot, yes. But we also like the other parts of the culture, like the other movies that are there, the music that they listen to, all parts of it, honestly. And like the culture as a whole just fascinates us, and we love to celebrate that.
no, but I think I understand why.
So translation of jokes has always been one of the most difficult things to do. I mean, it's true for all translation in general when you go from a source language to another language because there's a lot that could be lost, right? Some jokes require puns, which are really really hard to translate. Some jokes require like a cultural level of understanding, like some things in our culture versus their culture. In their culture, something might be funny, whereas in our culture, it's just like, isn't that just a normal thing? Stuff like that. So to balance that when you dub a show is really, really hard, especially when you also have to think about the fact that you need to make the mouth movements match.
But I just want to add one point to Sakaido's previous statement about each show having a core theme and why it's hard to pick that for Spy Family is because this author clearly made it to sell, which was described in an earlier slide. Most manga, most anime are passion projects that are about a particular story that they wish to tell in a particular way, which is where the underlying theme comes from. Is the underlying theme of the story and the method they choose. Since this was from the beginning, I'm going to use this phrase, commercial project, it's hard to come up with a defining underlying theme, which is why comedy is something that sells universally. So that is a good theme, but that's why this show is a bit harder than the others.
Okay, no, but what I'm saying is for anything that melds genres, there is always going to be a primary genre. Okay, the reason, so why I ended up developing this idea to begin with is because I got very annoyed by a habit of that all these
Nice getting
anime
to it.
listicle article writers, top 10 listicle writers go into, uh,
Go on.
fell into, and which was every time there is a list top 10 romance anime
Huh.
or something like that, they would list Fruits Basket. And this kind of annoyed me quite a bit. and because it's sort of this very partly because it's based in this very reductive reasoning they have. They're like, oh, it's shoujo, it is romance, and I'm not saying there is no romance. It is, yes. The the romance angle. I'm not going to say who and with who, because that is part of the show's charm. You have to watch and be the cheerleader. But what the what I'm saying is, but you would be hard. But okay, I'm not getting the words. But Fruits Basket is primarily a family drama that informs every aspect, every other aspect of the show, every other genre aspect of the show, including the romance, including the supernatural aspect. Uh, Everything is informed by the fact that it is a dysfunctional family drama, and I would argue that drama is the primary genre. If you had to list it under a yes.
I mean, yeah, this is a very important, I mean, important, a very interesting topic. I think this especially comes into play when at least I've seen it come into play a lot when it comes to the Reddit Anime Awards. There's a lot of discourse about why a show is, let's say, listed as slice of life. Especially when it comes to these hard to define genres, because what would you put this show as? If it has aspects of every genre you want to put it in. Let's say I have three genres for you. If you had to put Spy Family as a nominee in any of these awards, what would you put them? Would you put it in action? Would you put it in comedy? Or would you put it in slice of life? So it has, I think it has aspects of all three, and so it's hard to define shows as genre pieces themselves. So I mean, yeah, that comes with the territory of trying to classify shows into genres themselves. But yeah, I think that's the point.
But yeah, labels are useful. They are helpful because, to draw in new users, like, okay, what am I expecting? What am I going to be seeing? Like, for example, like for me, in my opinion, one of the most deepest and the most philosophical shows out there is Gintama, which is surprising because it's literally a gag comedy with a lot of dirty jokes. But for me, the philosophy is in it, the depth is incredible. And that's also sort of what plays around for most shows. What's the initial draw? Like, let's say, Bunny Girl Senpai. Oh, it's a girl in a bunny suit. Like, you'd think it's something very silly and malarkey, but it's actually a very deep and I'm not going to spoil it, but that's the thing. What's the initial draw? And yeah, you don't expect such depth and such such writing from a show that's called Bunny Girl Senpai, and that's sort of where we're coming
Oh,
for, right? Like your initial tags, your initial labels are just to draw you in, just to show you, oh, this is what's expected. But the more something develops, it's
oh no.
yes. Of course you have the
No.
picture. I wonder where you got this picture
Okay.
from.
Okay. Someone is
Like what I did
getting
was to talk about the translation.
best. Right. So this, I mean, we're getting to a small this thing digression here, but because of the anime, there are a significant amount of people that think that Pikachu is faster than Raichu, which is not true. Okay, but yeah.
Only
By the way, there are a bunch of new joiners, so I'll just quickly go over what we are doing. So we're so far as preparation or as in celebration of the movie being released, we're talking about the show, its various aspects and how it relates to other things, what our opinions of it are. So if you have anything, if anyone in the audience wants to add something, feel free to raise your hands and wants to say something, put a message on chat, and you can join the stage. That's all. Oh no! What is the topic again? I have been flashbanged with what's on screen. What is on topic again?
Check the stream and tell nah. It's probably easier if you do that.
Wait. Are you still on topic with the merchandising? Because my laptop committed seppuku suddenly.
I want to make a point on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
So
one of the key factors for merchandising anything is how easy is something to recognize. Like you gave the example of Pikachu, which is an excellent example. How many of the Pika clones do you recognize?
me too.
No, you will recognize all of them. But outside of Pokemon fans, how many people will recognize the Pika clones as, you know, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna think it looks like Pikachu.
Pikachu,
That is
exactly.
Also, yes.
that is there. That is there. Okay, but
Hot take,
the thing
guys. Hot
is,
take. Dropping this hard take right now. Mimikyu greater than Pikachu.
absolutely
Mimikyu.
okay. That's a very complex reason why. Okay, but the core of it is simple character designs. That's my theory on it, which is like Pikachu simple character design, Anya simple character design, face funny expression, pink hair, two horns, and also identifiable character. The two horns on Anya's head kind of make 75% of the character, in my opinion. Like you slap that on anybody and you're like, oh, Anya reference.
And I just want to bring up those horns because that is supposed to look like it's called takonoko. It's a type of confectionery in Japan. The pine shoot
Oh,
confectionery.
compito.
Oh, yeah, I'm right then. Yeah, so it's Meiji's takonoko. There's this
I
chocolate, and that is what it's supposed to resemble. Those things on her head. Ooh.
Rengoku no Ashe. So Rengoku no Ashe is the original manga from which the designs for Anya and part of the design for Yor got taken from the protagonist Ashe. So her earrings were taken for that. Yor's earrings, the spiky ones, no? That's where those came from. The rest of the design just went directly to Anya. From the embroidery design of her school uniform to the pink hair to the horns.
Came here just to look at this image.
Yeah. We're all looking at this image while we're processing our thoughts in the background.
Yes, yes. Sorry,
Can you swap the side? It's too much of a
I had to
flashbang.
jump out for something.
Yeah.
Lot of prep
I
going
mean,
on.
the character designs are extremely simple, yet at the same time, when you like, I really like the fact that the character names also in this entire anime are very, very simple. I don't think anybody's touched on that yet. Anya, Lloyd, Yor, Frankie, Bond is the dog. It's like these simple one-shot names that are easy
you're
to remember.
forgetting one name.
I think they're like one, two syllables at most, all of them.
Don't forget Itadori.
Itadori.
What? Itadori Yoji.
Yes, my
I
favorite
just
character.
He got
Favorite SpyxFamily
Yeah.
character.
yeah,
I just want to bring
Yes.
up again
Uh,
about the whole
yeah.
mascot and the whole, the kawaiification, the cute things about this. Yes, the very, very cute Anya. So again, this movie is propaganda for people to think like, ooh, have kids in your life because the kid in your house is your person.
Man
okay,
is
okay,
tripling
Grandpa,
down.
your oatmeal is ready,
Oh
Grandpa.
yeah, Japan has an inverted triangle. Okay, we know this already.
Grandpa, your
Their
cream of
population
wheat
is
is
aging.
ready.
They need
Pour
more
it.
children.
Yes. So
Uh,
essentially, have a cute kid in your life. That's your mascot for a while until they become
Absolutely.
teenagers and
Grandpa, the Ganji Anna will get cold. Please come quickly.
uh, uh, oh no, guys, the images. Oh no.
No,
Okay.
but actually, I came back to specifically I had to respond to a point HKS made, but then I never got the space and time, and then I had to jump away,
Okay.
and then we changed the slide. HKS, when you were talking about there's not a lot of spy anime stuff.
Okay.
Uh, it's simply like that. That's actually kind of a wider trend. It's simply not really a huge thing in Japan. Like uh,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and
Okay.
like the prevalence of spy media in English is simply because of the involvement of because the US and to a lesser extent the UK have all been heavily involved in espionage uh,
Okay.
over the world wars and the Cold War.
he's
So
American. He knows
it's,
how
it's
many
a big
countries
part
have
of the
been involved.
culture there. So which is why you have Bond and you have Mission Impossible and whatnot. But there's no so the biggest and it's kind of very telling that so the biggest spy franchise in Japan is not anime. I mean, it has been animated once, but it's primarily a manga. It's Golgo 13, and the longest running manga ever. Golgo 13 is very clearly Western inspired. Like it is very clearly in the vein of Bond and the like. the hard-boiled
Yes. Okay.
spy,
Yeah.
international spy who speaks all languages, understands all of the, like knows all technologies and techniques, and has trained here and there and everywhere. Sort of, it's very much in that vein, but it's not. It's not an, for lack of a better phrase, it's not a genre that comes naturally to Japan or Japanese media, in the way it comes naturally to American media.
Hmm.
And yeah, so Golgo 13 probably the most prominent example. Even the other, like even when you brought up Lupin, that's also like again very obviously
Yeah. I
Western
mean,
inspired.
yeah. I mean, yes.
Literally get it
Obviously.
came from
Yes.
the
Yes.
Arsène
Yes.
Lupin
Yes.
novels. So,
Actually, funny
but
enough, now that you brought it up, I actually was not referring to the Lupin anime. I was talking about the Asan Lupin novels because I was talking about them and Sherlock Holmes together.
oh, Lamau,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my bad.
yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Speaking of fun fact, I just like to bring this up because I learned it recently. I think it's very fun. Uh, in the Ace Attorney games, in the Great Ace Attorney games, the Daigakutan Saigon games, the translated versions at least, even though the original Japanese version used Sherlock Holmes, I think in the English version, English translation, they changed it to Herlock Sholmes.
Sherlock Holmes, yeah.
Yeah, Herlock Sholmes, because I guess they didn't want trouble with the
Yes.
Doyle estate, which I don't. I mean, I think it's public domain, but yeah, whatever. Uh, but here's the thing. Here's the fun part. Here's the interesting thing I learned after the fact that okay, so Herlock Sholmes is extremely old. And has been used as a standby for Sherlock Holmes to avoid copyright issues for a very long time. The Lupin crossover in big quotation marks event had it with Herlock Sholmes in quotation marks again, which is fun. Oh no.
Ante
Uh,
opera Mikio.
Yes, I have a lot to say about that, but end up with a 30-minute digression into Bushy Road. So let's not. Thank you.
But yes, that's the only thing. That's the only thing I wanted to add. It's not super prevalent because in every other example we brought up, like Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, Princess Principal, they're all very clearly Western. You can argue even Licorice Recoil has that kind of influence, even though I would say it's the most indigenously Japanese media of the lot.
Unique.
Like the one that draws on JP media tropes the most. But
Mhm.
even that has a more
No.
like
Anna,
so like it's basically like everything that these shows are like something like Licorico. Everything is rooted in like spy thrillers, cop shows. You know, uh, mm, they're not again they're not genres that come naturally to Japanese media. Simply because they are not as huge a part of the culture as they are in Gunland, where I
And I just
sadly
want to
reside.
add to this point about, how native, let's say, modern history and current affairs influence media. Like, if you look at India, like the past 10 years, there was like a massive uptick in these nationalistic, patriotic, war films. Before that, it's all about, chill, comedy sort of stuff. Like, the times you live in determine the kind of media that's created and consumed. And a big part of the 60s and 70s, with
the Cold
what
War.
the
The Cold War.
Code Red or what Wolf Town, all the Top Gun stuff, they are a product of the times that they were living in. And Spy Family is more like an homage, is more like harking back to that era than, because in Japan most of media is, geared towards high schoolers. Most things portray that kind of stuff, so that's why we feel Spy Family is sort of different to the mainstream.
Uh, yeah, to respond to Axis point, yeah, that's the reason why Bond is from uh, like why, yeah, it's
MI6.
yeah,
Yeah, he is from MI5,
he's a,
right? He's a,
MI6 in the real world.
MI6. MI6 is
he,
the intelligence division.
yeah,
he's
no,
an
no.
MI6, yeah.
MI6. No, no. There's oh wait. Am I thinking
No,
of
in the
Johnny
in
English? Okay.
Okay,
Never
I'll
mind.
ask you a question. In the UK, the MI5 is domestic affairs, MI6 is international. It's
Okay.
like how in India, IB is domestic and RAW is external.
Ah,
So
okay, okay. Makes sense. Cool.
Or kind of
FBI is
like the FBI and CIA, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. They all like a lot. Most of this media focuses on international espionage, counterterrorism type stuff, because it's a more exciting and b distracts from the fact that they are spying on their own, well, which probably the domestic audiences don't want to know. So,
because at what point in time, like about 1 in 20 East German residents were Stasi or Stasi informants, which is a crazy stat. 1 in 20. Yeah, on each other.
oh yeah,
Hi. Yeah, I
Hello.
was
Hello.
typing something and then you called me. So, yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I am from this Bhopal, like BAC.
Oh no, BSc.
BAC, yes, the real one.
BSc,
The real BSc.
Bhopal, Bhopal.
Bhopal and
Bhopal and Mixam,
yeah.
yeah, right.
Which other BACs there?
Bangalore Anime
Bangalore.
Club.
Bangalore Anime Club.
Have you heard of the South Indian city called Bangalore?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Ah, okay.
What's
Right.
what's
No,
the
the
other
Bhopal
CSA?
one.
Okay, okay, let's go.
Which is the other CSC? Coimbatore.
Coimbatore, I believe.
Hello guys, yeah, it's Coimbatore.
Hey, let's go.
Hey, did I meet you in the Haikyuu screening in
But,
Bangalore?
but we are the first CSE, okay? They are the second CSE. We came first.
Let's go.
Of course, of course.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay, yeah.
was writing a very unrelated question, and now that I have the stage, maybe I'll ask it to everybody. Am I
Okay.
the only girl in this call? Because I see plenty of uh, this profile pictures, but I guess
Uh,
I'm the only female here.
Oh, stage
So I'm
Because
presence.
we
quite
are men.
confused.
Because we are
I am
men, we
Crowded.
a
like women.
trust me, I am a
Yeah.
cute anime girl in real life as well. So
I
is
am a cute
Mochi.
anime girl in real life, and I can send pictures as proof.
I am a mix
Only
that weighs
women.
9 tons, true, real.
I,
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
Ah,
Cloud as
if
well.
Nivi was
actually,
here, she would have been, yeah.
Maybe he's busy, right?
yeah. I mean, I entered the chat. Yeah, tell me. Yes, I wanted to request, but everybody was so busy. I thought it would be quite rude. So,
Oh no, no,
I
it's,
mean, I
it's
entered.
No, no.
Somebody was talking about Fruit Basket. It's one of my favorite animes, and I'm like, what? It's not about romance. What else is it about? And then I
Oh,
thought I got off quite rude in that sentence. So I wanted to clarify that I was not trying to be rude. It's just,
Mushi get
it's one
beaten
of
on
my
the floor.
favorites, and it is
no, no, no.
about
I
romance.
get that. Like,
Yeah.
when I said what I said, it was more along the lines of the romance is very important to it. Yes, obviously. Again, I don't
Yeah.
want to say between who, and there's more than one like
Yeah.
important romantic
Yeah.
relationship.
One should not. One
But
should
like,
never. Yeah.
but it's but like sort of the Soma family drama is central to the show, I feel, and
Uh,
like even the romance stems from there. Even like even which animal they are is based on kind of their position in the family and their sort of like it informs everything about the
no,
show. What I feel.
no, it is not like the what kind of animal they are is not based on who they are in the family. Who they are in the family is
Right,
represented
right.
by which animal they are. It's the other way around. Like if you are the mouse, then you're treated that way. If you're the cat, you're treated that way. So there's this difference. And romance, I would say there is because of the God and the love there is. It's not about one family, it's about the God and all the animals they invited and the betrayal the cat had. And I believe betrayal is only possible where there is love. So that was my point. But
No,
we
no,
are talking
sorry.
about Spy
No, I
Family
agree.
now.
Yeah.
So
In the
oh,
in the
yeah,
show in the show's canon, yeah, it's what animal they are determines how they're treated, like how Kyo is treated
yes,
because he's a cat and so on and
Yes.
so forth.
I just got
I
to
mean,
read
from
it
the
last week
writing
for my boss.
perspective, like I have a feeling the author thought of these relationships first. These
But so does Atmayo. So does Atmayo. Like the fun you have while seeing Atmayo or Soge King is not the same when you say believe it or I don't know what is Soge King in English. So Waku Waku is yeah, it's kawaii. Like cute is not as cute as kawaii.
Can we go to the next
All
slide
right.
again, please?
Oh my god, why?
This is
Okay.
like the reactions I'm getting. Who is it exactly? Is it
Hmm,
that's why. All
perfect.
right. So if you can go a
Wait, who is
little
it? Who is it?
behind in the
Sorry.
slide.
No, I'm getting
Which
Nargis.
one?
fucking doxed as well. Like,
The I'm not sure third or fourth slide. It was in the beginning, like about the family and uh, after oh god. Okay, family and next what was that?
uh,
I know
Hmm.
next to this maybe no.
before it.
So no, so probably the family, like how we found the family. So
Yeah,
yeah.
The
So you
reunification
said
church building.
we were discussing this, or we will be discussing this later. So yeah, that is quite an interesting thing because somebody else was also discussing that Japanese are doing this so that to like increase their population as well.
oh no, Metla, what are you
That
cooking?
was the take. That was the take that I heard, and I really wanted to discuss that one.
Okay,
If someone is interested, yeah.
Please go
fair,
ahead.
fair.
there
Absolutely,
is
all
one
yours.
person interested. I'll leave it to.
If there's one
I'm
key
also very
takeaway
interested to
from
talk.
this call, it's that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Metla, I think you're the one who had the tech, so
Yes.
you want to
Yes.
discuss.
Do you want me to repeat that? Do you want me to say had nothing? So there was a very famous meme in response to Duronto B2's meme about something. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I think we all know what it is. Yes, this show. I was memeing about Shinzo Abe paying money. I think he had other things on his mind, like getting paid by the Unification Church. But this show did make it cool for people to be real Jews, to be you know
Oh my
and
god.
Yeah.
have it.
Malta,
Yeah,
I think you're
animes are
grasping at
quite
straws.
influencing.
Sorry?
No, he's not, I don't think he's grasping at straws at all. I think it's the other way around. I genuinely think
No,
that there has
he
been a
speaks the
promotion
truth.
of. Yeah.
No, we know.
He speaks the truth.
Hmm.
And because here's the thing, because when you look at how like we all look at anime like, oh, anime is amazing, it should be big. It's not big at all in Japan. For them,
Hmm.
anime is a very small niche thing. It's like how Bhojpuri films is for us. Like, yes, it has its dedicated
Are
Kino,
you saying
Kino,
followers.
what?
Kino.
What films are you?
Kinografia.
What do you mean?
Kinografia.
What I'm saying is, like, the average Japanese person is not very into anime. It's not something mainstream over there. It's
Yeah.
it's niche, and you know most of the media, most of the work so far were targeted to that niche and to make it, sort of appeal to the demographic. Spike's Family was one of the few, let's say, attempts by people to sort of correct this perception of anime as, something only otakus watch. It's something to be accessible, it's something to
Hmm.
be, aspiring to. And the fact that the
Mm.
government, like a lot of people were happy about the portrayal of families in this, was that, it made it desirable.
Hmm.
It made something that
Yeah.
most otakus and most hikikomori saw as a burden to get out into society, to do things, get a family. Like that seemed as a burden, but this made it seem cool, and that was a big thing for them, for society, like how they see animes in general. So,
Hmm.
and no, I'm not grasping.
Axis, I have a
No,
question.
we were just
Quick
Sure.
question to
go.
Axis.
Sure, sure.
Okay, I just finished up. Axis, when you talk about translation, are you talking about the original manga fan tier?
Sorry.
Uh,
What?
are you I wanted to say if anyone want to talk about the original manga's fan translation before it got picked up to be officially translated, or before they got their official names. And so, in my again, if people don't know this, when the manga was first translated or was fan translated, it was Lloyd was translated as Lloyd, which is like the English name for Lloyd.
Yeah, which is
Uh,
the more common spelling. Yeah.
Yes, which is the more common spelling for Lloyd. And when it was changed, there was a lot of backlash. So it was Lloyd with LLOYD. It was Yoru, not Yor. So Yoru as a knight. But yeah, Lloyd and Yoru. Yes. I thought that was the thing you're trying to bring up. I really want to discuss that as well. But I think that's tangential to the topic. So that's good. Go ahead. So, yeah.
The manga has amazing art. Got like the first volume of it gifted. So yeah, what I wanted to touch upon actually was I think you already touched on a couple slides ago about the regions that it's based on. Where like I just want, because these guys were discussing that like the whole spy thing with the US and Germany and the Cold War and everything. Like we know that Westalis and Ostania is a very thinly veiled way of just saying West and Germany or Ostania East. But yeah, that was the topic I wanted to touch on actually. Since we already touched on that, I don't see any reason for me to go back to it. Uh, please,
I
I
had a
want to
thought
support
on.
Metla. I want
Yeah.
to support Metla with this thing. Naso, can you please pull up the
Family.
it is the Japan population pyramid, please,
Oh,
on screen.
No.
Please pull up the Japanese population pyramid. I shall
I'm glad
explain it.
my words are reaching people.
I don't I don't think I'm not.
No, no, I am sure most of you don't know this, but I'm going to teach you what it is and how you should see this. Please, on
If
screen.
anyone is ever partially interested in Japanese culture, they would know this. Like
Ah.
it's a huge thing.
This is something like you can apply for any country. You
Thank
just
you for
look
the
at the pyramid and
AnySync
you can
and
learn.
ACC collaboration. Metla just
It's
yapped, but yeah.
For what?
Yeah, I did have something. It was related to specifically
Did you?
fan translation.
Uh,
Not fan translation, just the translation
Nazo,
from. Yeah, okay, go on, go
no,
on.
go ahead. Go ahead. Now I was gonna ask Nazo if Sugar got a chance to talk about.
No,
Yeah.
I have access.
So
Like, what do you
Yeah.
want me to talk about?
Oh no, I thought you
Translation
were
of
specifically interested.
translation of jokes. Like what does this slide talk about exactly? What was like you guys were discussing before I joined? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Marshall. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Batabayo has its own feel. I remember watching this Marvel movie quite some years ago. Marvel or I don't know, Deadpool. It was I don't remember exactly. I watched it in English once, because I was with my friends, and next time I was with another group of friends. We watched it in Hindi, and I could different like I had something to relate it to or compare it to rather. Once there was this heavy thing that somebody had to lift, and they were like, "Fuck, this is so hard," or "This is so heavy." In the second time, in the Hindi version, it said, "Hey Bhagwan, mujhe Shakti dena," because that's what people would relate to. There are various jokes that you'll see if it's American, like if they joke about their president or something, people there would relate to it. If it's something a regional joke, they'll relate to it more. But when it comes to Hindi or any other language, they try to convert that joke so that people of India or people of that region can understand. Because if there's a joke in some South Indian movie, and I am not very, yeah, exactly. If there's a South Indian movie that I'm watching and like I watched Nana, if there's a joke and I will not get it because I am not from that there. I'm from North India. So if they make a joke, that will be something I relate to more. If it's something about Delhi or some other place, I'll be more familiar with it. So that's sorry,
Ah, yes.
that's in from Canada. I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Onigiri, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like
and
three lies.
and
It's
I have
about Dora cake, and there's no Dora cake available in India. So those things.
and so for India, there's a specific example I can draw on in the same vein as the jelly-filled donuts onigiri in Pokemon.
Yeah.
So in Ninja Hattori,
Oh,
in the
Nin Nin.
original,
Nin Nin.
what not Nin Nin.
Okay.
What Shishimaru eats
Oh,
is
oh,
chikwa,
oh, Chikwa,
which
Chikwa,
are
yes.
And the
which
rope.
is a type of fish cake. So it's a fish cake that
Yes.
is rolled up in a tube shape. Uh,
Yeah.
the every Indian dubbed version of Ninja Hattori calls it chocolate roll because it has that
Yes.
brown
Chocolate is poison to
Oh
doggies.
markings on
my
it.
god.
The brown stuff is not chocolate, but every Indian dub calls it a chocolate roll because that's again more
Yes.
relatable to an Indian audience. Although I have personally never eaten a chocolate roll in all my years. Uh,
Exactly. So
but
there are
so they call it
localization
and
is
it's very
important. I'm
funny.
sorry.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
very funny because I then saw some YouTube video of some
Mm-hmm.
made by some fan of Ninja Hattori where they posted a recipe video for chocolate rolls as seen in Ninja Hattori, and it was just very funny to me because there isn't, it's technically not a thing that exists in Ninja
Yeah.
Hattori,
Mm-hmm.
And
but they made a whole
So,
recipe for it.
but that being said, I'd say that localization where it's important, there are also some words that give the anime their flavor.
True.
So whereas some jokes need to be translated, some facts need to be translated so that everybody or the local people can understand it. There are some words that just need to stay there.
Real, not
Like
Keikaku
Waku
means man.
Waku,
For
like
example,
my cousin, she's
Okay.
in fifth standard currently, and I made her watch. Like she wanted to watch what I was watching, so I made her watch this SpyxFamily because this Anya, she's so cute. And she still says Vakku Vakku, Didi, I wanna see Vakku Vakku. And it's just something that gives that anime its own flavor.
you would
Right.
say your
And
she is the mascot of her family.
This thing, Sakai, do you want to watch the Shimarin anime?
Shimarin anime.
The what?
The Shimarin anime.
Shimarin anime.
The Shimarin?
Oh,
But,
not a great thing. Didn't your
yeah, but
mom say something?
yeah, but
Oh yeah, yeah,
again,
yeah. Correct, correct, correct. Yes, on the same note as what you shared, like where your friend still says Waku Waku even though it's left in untranslated. So uh, my mother likes Eurocamp, so I'm a big fan of Eurocamp. I made my mother watch it, and then we both watched it. Both seasons, the first two seasons of it together. I wasn't there to watch the third season with her, unfortunately. Like, as in, we're stuck in different countries now. But so so yeah. So the funny thing about my mom watching Euro, so she's a fan, but you ask her, "Are you a fan of Eurocamp?" She'll stare at you blankly because she doesn't know the show is called Eurocamp. She only she doesn't remember the name of the show, any like relevant names of any. She only remembers the show as like every time she wants to watch it, she's like, "Hey man, come, let's watch Rinchan." Like so basically like the two main characters are Rin
yeah,
and Nadeshko, and Nadeshko will very often say, "Oi, Rin-chan," and stuff like that. Okay,
Be quiet, okay?
and so like so my mom has like has just named the show Rinchan on her own and is like,
Mm.
hey, do you
Yeah,
want to
that's,
watch Rinchan? And I'm like,
that's
okay,
such
cool,
a
let's go
thing.
watch Rinchan.
Every Pokemon, like anytime you're watching a Pokemon, I love Jigglypuff, so my mom knows Jigglypuff or Pikachu. If they had translated all the like Pokemon's name to Pila Chuha, मैं तुम्हें चुनता हूँ, that would have been very awkward and weird.
My favorite Pokemon is Lizard. Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, a
Speaking of
fire
language,
lizard. That would have
speaking of
been very awkward.
speaking of
Or a
language and like
cannon,
why the
cannon
Japanese language.
turtle. Oh God, those kind of things. So yeah, if I say okay, if I say Shinjubu Sagayo, can you guess the anime? Shinjubu Sasageo. I hope that's the
Yeah,
correct.
Yes.
AOT.
Yeah, exactly. So it gives the anime their own flavor. If I say Waku Waku, you know it's SpyxFamily. Like he said Rin-chan. So even though his mother does not know the name of the proper anime, she knows. If I'm wearing something pink, my mom says तो Jigglypuff lag rahi hai. Because I like that Pokemon. So even though they have not seen it, it's related to it.
yeah. So
So
that's kind of like, sorry, I cut you off. But like, yeah,
no, please
yes.
go on.
So yeah, that's the yeah, that's what I say. That's a very relevant point when it comes to translating sort of how much is essential to like what benefits from being left untranslated,
Mm-hmm.
like Waku Waku, or like I mean, if you're translating Naruto, you're not gonna like translate ninja to something else. Like even though ninja is a Japanese word, you're gonna keep it that way. Like for a very basic example, obviously, ninja is also an
Mm-hmm.
English word now, but still. So what benefits from being left untranslated, and what benefits from being translated in a like localized in a relatable way, like the thing you
Yes.
mentioned about uh,
The
the
jokes
yeah, the joke
and
in
the
the MCU thing. So like even like every like I can only speak for my region, but I feel like every region of India has a thing or an utterance they say whenever they have to lift something heavy. Uh,
yeah.
like for us, it's like "Ayyappa," and then like you lift
No.
something like that. There's always
Yeah.
a thing you say when you
Dum
lift,
laga ke hai tha.
No.
and it's very
I want to touch upon that
Sorry.
distinct Japanese language and culture and how that language translates to, mistranslations or sort of culture. It's their language is very visual. It's a lot of, pictograms, it's a lot of they think visually. Like when you read Japanese, it's not about, words or phonemes, it's about images and pictures in your head, like how the idea translates, which is also touched upon in Bakuman that, our language lends ourselves to visual storytelling, which is a lot of them remote being mangakas. And this also translates to the way they describe feelings, right? Because for us, most of how we describe feelings in the written word is just anger, fear, or something like that. But then they have a unique set of onomatopoeia, which is repeating phonemes to sort of describe this kind of like I'll give you like a famous example
The
is
vibe.
yes,
doki doki waku
yokoso
waku
kira
puyo
kira
puyo
doki doki
mochi
mochi
mochi.
mochi puyo puyo waku waku washoy is like a big long string, but it does a
Yeah.
far better job of conveying that joyful emotion than just I'm excited or something like that. That's what Waku Waku does. That's what Doki Doki does, and that's what Mura Mura means something else, but let's not go there. But that's what these repeated
Mhm.
onomatopoeia does a better job of translating emotions, which sadly can't really convey that full meaning in another language.